Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Holland, a product manager here at Snowflake, working on Snowflake Intelligence. I want to give you a little bit of an introduction into what Snowflake Intelligence is and let you see the latest and greatest capabilities and how you can bring this enterprise intelligent agent into each of your organizations. We see time and time again in organization, it is really difficult to get everybody on the same page. There might be data abundant, but turning that data into insights that are independently accessible by everyone in the organization, whether you're in sales or marketing or you're an executive, can be incredibly cumbersome. That's because answers are often scattered across a number of different sources. Sometimes I'm struggling. If I want to get an answer to a question, I'm limited to finding things like static reports and trying to infer that on my own. This limits my independence. It means that I'm not able to feed my data curiosity to get the info that I need to be on the same page, to break down those organizational barriers, and above everything else, deliver better outcomes for my business. Snowflake Intelligence provides an option to make all of that possible. Snowflake Intelligence acts as your enterprise intelligence agent. It weaves together all of the knowledge across your organization, the critical business context, understanding how your teams operate and the terminology that they use, surface them in clear ways. What's super exciting is that Snowflake Intelligence doesn't just tell you about the what, tell you about what's happening. It goes into the why. It allows you to independently explore, well, what's driving this? Why is this happening? That you're able to answer on your own faster. It brings all of this capability to the fingertips of everyone in your organization through natural language. That's why we're so excited that Snowflake Intelligence is now generally available for all Snowflake customers. And I want to show it to you now in action. So for this scenario, we're going to be working in supply chain. This Snowflake Intelligence works across any industry. We could be talking about finance or customer support, but I thought supply chain is a fun one because it's such a complex operation. There's customers, there's suppliers, there's so many teams involved. It's a quite complex operation that really thrives on efficiency. So if you're able to bring that knowledge and that insight into everyone involved, you're able to become much more efficient. So we're now working at Stratus Dynamics. We are manufacturing a number of goods in a few different hubs. And I want to play the role of a few different people in this organization and how they're able to interact with Snowflake Intelligence to do more and get more insight. So we'll start here on our Austin hub. Let's say I'm the Austin site lead and I want to track and understand a little bit more to make sure that we can manufacture all the goods that we need to. So we'll start with a simple question. Help me understand the status of all critical inbound shipments that are coming to this Austin manufacturing hub. Now, as the site lead, this is a really critical question. Snowflake Intelligence already makes this easy for me to use natural language to get info to this right away. And there's some important things that are happening. You'll notice here the agent right away is understanding my context. It knows some of the critical context. Like in this place, I say critical inbound shipments. Well, what do I mean when I say critical? Snowflake Intelligence understands my data and it's able to map those business concepts to the eventual answers. You can see in just a few seconds, I get my answer. Now, one important feature I want to call out right here, you'll notice this green shield. This green shield is a powerful tool and it's something that I love as a user. This green shield tells me that ahead of time, my team has certified a set of answers. Think of important metrics like revenue or customers. If your data team ahead of time has certified, hey, this is how we measure it. This is the codified way that we talk about this metric, and the agent is able to pull from that, I get this green shield to let me know, hey, not only did I get the answer that I was looking for, but it's been verified, it's been certified. So here I get the information that I need. It looks like we have 17 shipments in transit, but unfortunately, I do see that there are a few delayed shipments. In fact, a few of these I know are critical components, like maybe this purchase order 7892 is an especially critical one. Well, now let's dive a little bit deeper. We understood the what. Imagine now that I'm the supply chain director. I'm in charge of making sure that we have all the right pieces and parts coming to our hubs. And I want to understand what's going on here. I've noticed that there's been a trend that we've been getting more and more delayed shipments over the last few weeks. Well, now somebody working in supply chain, also using Snowflake Intelligence, can start to ask questions like these. This is, to me, where the most power of Snowflake Intelligence comes in. Because now I'm just not asking a simple what question. I'm actually trying to understand what's driving this. Why is this happening? I want to know what's going on with this recent trend of late shipments. For example, this purchase order at 7892. Now, in this case, the agent has kicked off a workflow very similar to that first question. But what's happening here is incredibly powerful and unique. This agent is looking across a number of different data sources. You'll see here it's looking at weather data, it's looking at contractual data. Imagine how complex something like supply chain is. We have thousands of purchase orders coming in every single day. There's hundreds of different shipments. My agent is now navigating all of this for me. I'm independently able to get insight and answers into this. It's this combination of that data, that knowledge, with the business context and these powerful agent capabilities securely delivered to me. In fact, that's the one other piece I want to call out as the agent is understanding and doing some pattern matching. Snowflake Intelligence knows who I am. If I'm that supply chain director, it knows what my role is, and more importantly, it knows what data I should have available to it. You've likely been using features inside of Snowflake like our robust governance capabilities, where you can control things like row access policies and data masking. The amazing thing about building these agents inside of Snowflake is all of those permissions, all of those capabilities get honored by default. I don't have to go map and figure out how do I mirror all these data permissions back to the agent layer. It's one single layer, one single platform. So after a few seconds, you can see all of this complex analysis have happened. It looks like in this case, there's been some weather events. It's also found some issues related to weather events. It's looked into our contracts. It's tried to look at other trends across of what's happening here. Think about how much information. If I would have had to figure this out manually, I would have been digging through months of reports, a bunch of manual dashboards, probably relying on my data analyst team. And now I was independently able to get some robust insights to help me understand what's going on here. So either way, I've now figured out, okay, it looks like there might be an issue going on here with some of our logistics providers, specifically ShipFast, both because of weather events and other pieces. You'll notice in this case, it's like, hey, you might want to consider activating other carriers. Well, I want to show off one other very powerful piece, which starts to talk to unstructured data in terms of what these agents can do. So imagine now the supply chain director is having a conversation with somebody in finance, talking about these trends and some of the things that he's found. Well, in finance, I'm also using Snowflake Intelligence. And maybe I want to understand, hey, I've been hearing that there's potentially a trend going on with some of our logistics providers. I want to understand, okay, tell me all of the purchase orders where we have ShipFast as the logistics provider. And I want you to then calculate what's the total monthly value of all of those purchase orders. In other words, if something was to go wrong here with ShipFast, how much revenue is at risk here? Now, I'm asking this question, but I actually want to explain to you why this is incredibly powerful. Because in this case, these purchase orders are not data that is already loaded into Snowflake. These are all documents. In fact, for this demo, we have over 100,000 PDF documents. Each of those PDF documents represents a purchase order. What Snowflake Intelligence is doing is it's using this powerful combination of agent and search. It's actually dynamically right now navigating through all of those purchase orders. You'll notice it's smart enough to find variations of how I might be using things like ShipFast. It's pattern matching. It's extracting those entities dynamically. I didn't set this up ahead of time, right? A common pattern here is maybe I go create a document processing pipeline. Let's turn those contracts into a table that I can query on. In this case, none of that pre-processing has happened. All of this is happening dynamically live. The agent's inspecting my documents. It's pulling out where ShipFast is the logistics provider. It's finding where I talk about the monthly value of that purchase order. And then finally, the agent's able to summarize all of those pieces together and give me the information that I need inside of finance, which is, at the end of the day, hey, what is the total risk that we have for the monthly value of all of these purchase orders from ShipFast? So you can see here across those 100,000 documents, the agents come back and says, hey, we found 105 documents. 105 of them met your criteria, about $3 million in monthly value. So this is significant, right? Again, I just want to call out, can you imagine how much work that would have been if I did not have the power of Snowflake Intelligence? That would have ruined my entire week. It ended up being about 30 seconds here. But what I have learned is there's some real risk here. I've understood these trends. I've independently been able to validate it. Now we need to take action. So the last part I want to do here inside of Snowflake Intelligence is show how we can even take this further to take action on our behalf. So I go back to my supply chain person. I'm like, hey, I looked into it. We should really look at an alternative from ShipFast. Something might be going on here. Well, that's fine. Again, guess where I'm going to go? Snowflake Intelligence. I come to my enterprise intelligence agent, and I'm going to ask it, hey, can you help me change ShipFast to RapidHaul? I need to go reroute these to RapidHaul because I need to mitigate this risk. Once you've gone ahead and done that for these high-risk Fusion server components, let my team know on Slack. Tell the supply chain leadership on Slack that this has happened. In this case, my agent is configured to also take actions on my behalf. You can see it does things like have access to my logistics systems, has access to Slack, as well as a bunch of those data sources. So automatically you're here for me in a single hub. Not only did I get that knowledge and insight, but I was able to take action. There's one more part I want to show you all here. I know we've already seen so much, and that's for all of you builders out there. As you're thinking about rolling out these powerful agents in your organization, one common question comes up time and time again. How do I make sure that I'm building high-quality agents that my team can trust? And I want to show you some of these new capabilities that we have delivered. So here I am in the builder experience for Snowflake Intelligence agents. Now, already off the cuff, this is a very simplified experience. You can build and configure these agents, pointing them to the right data, all with no code. I get instant access to understand what are the conversations that are happening with my agent and how it's answering questions. But one powerful capability is this ability to set evaluations. This is a way to set consistent and regular tests against your agent. So let me show you what I mean. Here, I've defined a set of questions that I want to make sure my agent can ask and answer well. And we will automatically use AI to score how well the agent is able to do those things. You'll see I can check to make sure I'm getting correct answers, or even other characteristics like as the agent is answering this question, is it doing so in a logically consistent way? So let me give you an example here. When I asked a question about ship fast logistics, you can see in this case, it actually scored a 0 on logical consistency. Well, what went on here? Well, if I dig into this evaluation that ran, I can see, oh, it looks like in this case there was some duplicated data, and the agent did not logically deduplicate the data before returning the answer. So this was logically inconsistent and a result in an incorrect answer. Well, this is everything that I need to now go and improve the agent. I can go into my agent builder. I can update things like the prompts and the instructions to help with that logical flaw, and then go ahead and run my evaluation again. And you can see right here, when I ran the evaluation again after making that check, here we go, 100% accurate on logical consistency. So we have tools both for your users and your organizations to get instant access to insights, as well as for builders to correctly build this all together. So to recap, we've shown a lot here. Hopefully you understand why we're so excited about the potential. Breaking down those organizational barrier walls. I talked about supply chain today. This applies to every industry, to every team. Maybe you're in sales and you want to understand, I'm about to go into this sales meeting. What should I be talking about? Maybe you're an executive and you want to understand how you're tracking towards your quarterly guidance. Maybe you're working and building great products and you want to know how your users are using your product every day. That's how I personally use Snowflake Intelligence every single day. So it's now generally available. We're thrilled to see what you can all build and the value that you'll find in deploying this secure and scalable enterprise intelligent agent everywhere. I cannot wait to see what you all build with Snowflake Intelligence. Thank you so much.